Tariffs could make your guacamole more expensive, and that's just the beginning. Trump's expected tariffs will affect restaurants in ways that you would not expect. Let's go through this and discuss why this is important to us. We've been in the restaurant business for quite some time.
We have.
And what are these tariffs doing? They're increasing food costs.
Of course.
Okay? The tariffs have been, suspended for 90 days, I believe?
Yeah.
Imagine the food cost, what that impact is, because
food cost was already going up on its own.
the seafood, wine, olive oil, we are a global market when it comes to the restaurant industry.
Absolutely.
It's not just we're going to have our beef down the road.
Exactly.
The restaurant is such a big operation. We're going to talk about how these tariffs will affect our business. Menu is the most obvious one that's going to be affected. What do you think that's going to happen from the customer side, and what do we think is going to happen from the business side of things?
Well, like anything, what you try to do in any restaurant is make the customer believe that they're not really taking the hit for it.
That's very important as well, because what we're really talking about here is our general fear of what's going to happen. That to me is one of the biggest thing that I've noticed about the tariff talk is fear and uncertainty. What are we going to do? Are we going to hold on to our shekels?
Yeah.
Or are we going to continue to go out?
Exactly.
Because restaurants are not just for food, not just for, some restaurants are utilitarian. You're hungry, you're going to get something to eat.
Exactly.
And that fulfills a very important need. Others are
events,
celebrations
across the board. There's so many different things you use a restaurant for.
Right, you want to take your clients out.
Absolutely, yeah.
You want to celebrate your birthday, an anniversary, a special occasion. Something happened with your family. You could be going out to mourn.
Exactly.
Are you going to just get everybody out at the crib and then do it there?
But then you got to cook.
And that's another interesting thing. That's a topic for another show, because I cook quite often, but that's just my culture. I'm from the Caribbean. Now, what's going to happen? Are we going to have a shift to where a lot of people are going to stay at home, learn to cook, do certain things? So
are they?
Well, for our sake, I hope not.
Exactly.
And so, as imported, especially wine.
Oh yeah, wine, like you said, olive oil, avocados. There's a lot of different things that come from different places. I mean, you have, yes, we can do but so much in the States, but there's also stuff that just isn't here.
For instance, the hardline goods.
Yeah. Okay.
Hardline goods are going to be things like glassware, furniture, linen, equipment. We're not manufacturing, a lot of freezers.
No.
So that's going to change the startup cost of any business.
Yeah.
If you're, the restaurant business is what we're talking about.
But it does go for most businesses. I mean, it goes for across the board. He's not wrong.
Well, true, but we're a restaurant podcast, and so that's our focus. And I know, particularly in my restaurant, we're constantly, every pre-shift, we're talking about what's the economy going to do? What are people going to do? We're already going into our slow season. Where are we? In the beginning of May.
Yeah.
And so we're going into our slow season, so we have to battle that every year. Also,
buckle down. You lose shifts across the board.
Yeah, with the fear and uncertainty of what's going to happen with the tariffs. Now, let's talk about the supply chain. We talked about food and we talked about the hardline goods. And so the big question on everybody's mind is what's going to happen with China, what's going to happen with Canada, Mexico.
Yeah.
And so,
because even if it's made in America, like we get parts from Mexico for even, whether it be for audio, for auto or, like normal restaurant equipment.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of parts that it's still technically America. Because back when you said made in America, that's America.
Yeah.
It just ain't
It's not
United States.
Yeah, soup to nuts, not United States. Think about what it takes to run a restaurant or what it takes to start up a restaurant.
Yeah.
So we talked about the hardline goods like the equipment and things like that. You have tables, you have chairs, you have wobble wedges that stabilizes the tables. As I go through the restaurant and I'm turning over made in China,
they're all from different places.
Made in China, as the pivot happens, let's say, it's too expensive to get these wine glasses from China, or it's too expensive to get this wine from Italy, or whatever the case may be. Now you're going to have a pivot. Yeah. How long is that going to take? Right? Not just how long logistically, in everyone's mind, like you said in the beginning of the show, how long is their sentiment going to be at a comfort level where they're going to go out and spend money where they don't feel like they're the ones paying for it?
Because restaurants naturally you account for inflation. And you add like pennies or $1 to certain items. And that happens every year. You might do a menu change and you just make that change minimal to where the guests can't see it. Yeah. But when when you have something that's coming in that's going to be such an influx, either remember back in the day when gas first went up and the taxi drivers and stuff like that, there was a surcharge. You're going to see surcharges and what you don't want to see that, because you want to be able to keep your base where what am I paying for?
There are a lot of bad players in the restaurant business, and I find that the pandemic already put a sour taste in people's mouths.
Absolutely.
Where they were seeing on their check, this surcharge is for personal equipment, for protection equipment for our servers.
Or delivery.
This is for gloves.
This
is for this. This is for the kitchens. And then that, if it puts me off, it's going to put
the guests off.
Yeah. So we already behind the 8 ball where prices spiked because of what happened globally in the
there was no movement. We went from being no movement.
Oh, being closed, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And even that had took a toll on auto and stuff like that. Remember, there was no parts, so everything went up.
Yes.
It was crazy.
Yeah, right.
So I think the same kind of effect's going to happen now.
I believe so, because also, let's just say that the restaurant somehow was insulated, right? We're still going to feel the hit, because if other
people are spending money on other things, they're not going out to eat as much.
Right.
You're gonna cut back on the things that you can do without, technically. And eating, not eating, but going out is one of them. That's probably one of the first things to go. When you think about our budget, I gotta stop eating out as much. Or even myself, in season, I go out more, I spend a little more money, I go to restaurants. When it comes out of season, I buckle up. I even tell my daughter, well, we're going to the grocery store more, I'm gonna be cooking more at the house. We're not gonna be eating out as much. Not to say we're not gonna eat out at all, but we're not eating out as much.
Right. And what we're describing there is a domino effect.
Yeah.
And there's definitely going to be a domino effect for the restaurant business. And I'm a little fearful about what that last domino is going to be. Meaning, already in good times, it's a 3, 5, 7%. You're lucky to be doing 10% profit margin.
Yeah.
As you operate a restaurant. So then, what's going to happen when other factors start eating into it, and a slowdown? Right? If people aren't
it's the double up. It doubles up on you.
Right, because you need a certain amount of things when you open the doors. Those are built into your
cost.
Operation
Yeah,
cost.
100%.
You turn them lights on. You have certain employees. You already have leases, whether it's the physical lease for the property, or leases on equipment. All of those things don't stop.
Yeah, there's I don't know about at where you're at, but I know from being there for so many years, there's a hardline cost. As soon as you open the door, it's X amount of money just to open the door every day.
Yes.
Just to turn, just to say, hey, we're open.
You need gas, you need electricity.
Yes.
You need employees, you need food, you need a certain amount of...
So everything over that, you have to at least hit that, or you're already under for the day.
Right. Okay, so we're going to expect reduced profit margins.
Absolutely.
Okay. Will larger chains be able to absorb those profit margins, or local smaller places, will they be able to adapt faster than local, or will they just simply wither and die?
Yeah.
Because they aren't able to.
Like if you're already on your last leg, like you're already holding on, it's gonna be harder, even more harder with all the things on top of it.
That'd be the knockout blow.
Yeah.
And the impact beyond food is going to be obviously things like to-go boxes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Are you going to charge people for to-go boxes? Are you going to have to bring your own baggie to take things out?
That's not going to work.
But who knows what these bad...
Where they come from.
The minute that one restaurant does something out of whack, it really falls on...
It becomes a trickle effect.
Right, but in people's minds, it's restaurants are doing this now.
Yes, whether it's just the one or all of them.
I agree. Yeah. And so the changes in customer behavior is another effect that we have to anticipate. What could that possibly be? You might see things like you said, dining out less. Are we going to have to then move to loyalty programs to get people back
in? Yeah.
You know, remember back in the day, you used to have you go to a sandwich shop or something, and you have the 10 punch,
cards. Yeah.
Yeah, the punch in the thing, and every
and every 10th one was free, or every
right,
one was free.
Right. You don't really see those promotions
there's
anymore.
But those are the spots that had them to begin with that still kind of do it.
You know what?
And they're far and few in between.
Not a lot of people, there's less wallets being carried.
Yes.
Everything's digital. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna walk around with a card because we're spoiled for choice.
Yeah.
So
now they put them in apps. I've noticed. Like some of the apps will have them, and you'll get your rewards.
That makes sense.
Way. But you don't want to. We already have so many apps. Okay, like how many apps are we gonna have?
What can restaurants do to weather the storm of the impact of tariffs?
I mean, you can try to get locally sourced stuff, but even that is going to go up because they're going to, they're
going to be more in demand.
Exactly.
You can focus on local, seasonal.
Yes.
There are already certain farm-to-table concepts.
Absolutely.
But if you're not built that way, you may have to go that way.
Like if you're a seafood spot, you're going to get your stuff from, even if it's locally sourced. Like you said, you might run out of stuff. You'll be switching stuff up on a regular basis.
Also, you're going to end up having to pare down your menu tremendously because whereas we're getting salmon from the UK, right? Or we're getting sea bass from or even Argentina,
Canada.
or even Canada, which
is right there, but
they're pissed at us.
Yeah, exactly. But it's literally right there, and that's where you get all that cold water salmon, and you get like cod and all those good fish.
Yeah. Even your
mussels from Prince Edward Isle. You have all these little
spices from the Middle East and things like that. And so we will end up having to advertise tremendously to our local customers, partner with...
And that costs money.
Of course.
You just added more money on top of the till.
There is something called a shared services center, which is like a cost-saving company, which people employ to do the logistics of how can I cut costs and things like that. And we're going to have to be flexible as an industry and innovate.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's going to end up in less choices. It just makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's it.
If you have any ideas about how we can pivot or how things are affecting
at your spot,
you.
How's it affecting you? Has your restaurant already pivoted?
Right.
Is it already adjusting to certain things?
Or has your restaurant already suffering?
Yes. Are you feeling the effects this year?
Right. Let us know in the comment if you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're listening on the audio podcast. You can email me. I'm themodernwaiter@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram at The Modern Waiter Podcast. We do this for you each and every week. I'm Marlon Joseph, The Modern Waiter.
I'm Danny Villain. Subscribe, people.
We will see you next week.
Later.
Money is the root of all evil. You may find yourself right now asking yourself, why is that so? You see, we need money to eat, money to clothe ourselves,